Hello, we are Geeks Assembled, and today we are discussing a 1992 film by Neil Jordan. It won many awards, and it's ranked in the top 30 of the greatest British films of all time. We are talking The Crying Game, a film that starts in Ireland with the Troubles and ends up in London in the UK. So I will go to Susan first because she was the one who suggested this a couple of weeks ago. So, Susan, what's your opening thoughts on The Crying Game?
Well, I've sort of adored this movie ever since I saw it. I found out about it because of Boy George, of course, and I literally have followed Boy George around all of fandom, all of his fandoms, and all the things he's done, all of his life, and discovered things like, David Bowie and then also The Crying Game and his musical Taboo. This is a movie about the IRA and the English invasion soldier force in Northern Ireland, and the IRA kidnaps a guy named Jody, and by hook and by crook, and then tortures him, and eventually has to kill him. And he hangs out with this guy Fergus, and he connects really deeply with Fergus, and then they force Fergus to kill him, and then Fergus, at the very end, Jody tells Fergus to go to London and to check out the Metro Bar and to meet Gil, because Gil is Jody's gal, and that becomes he falls in love with Gil. He totally falls in love with Gil, and then he goes through the process of building something and protecting Gil from this other wanker, and then he moves into this place of comfort, and then all of a sudden the crazy scorpion lady shows up, and who had wooed Jody in the beginning and asked him to kill a politician, but everything goes awry anyway, so she ends up dead, and Gil killed her, but Jimmy, aka Fergus, moved to protect the evidence and went to prison for her. Anyway, it's kind of an amazing story. It's got so much to do with the 80s and the IRA and that whole thing. It was pretty brutal in places and lovely in others, and I strongly recommend you seeing it. And since I've told you the whole story, I'm sure people have their favorite points, but I must say, beautiful, beautiful movie. And back over to you, Lee.
Thanks, Susan. Yeah, we might as well all go home. Susan's told us the full movie.
She told us the whole movie. She's actually kept the spoiler twist out of it. So,
well, seeing as Phil talking there, we'll go to our new face. Phil, what's your opening thoughts on The Crying Game?
what's my sorry?
Your opening thoughts on The Crying Game, the movie.
Well, it was lovely to see it again. I hadn't seen it, and I can't remember, 15 years or something like that, I think. But I actually went to the London premiere when it opened. And I'm not quite sure how I got a ticket in the end. I can't remember quite now. I've got the actual special tickets and the promotional stuff in a box somewhere. But yeah, Boy George was there, and the Pet Shop Boys were there, and I think it was through, because I'm a big Pet Shop Boys fan, and I think I found out that they were doing and producing the soundtrack, or part of the soundtrack to the film first, when it was still called A Soldier's Wife. And so I think then my interest was piqued, and then I followed it through, and eventually when it, they renamed it as The Crying Game and stuff. I think that's how I sort of found out about it, without knowing anything about the film, just the fact that they were involved in it. And I guess that they got involved because they worked on Scandal, which was another Stephen Woolley film, about the Profumo affair, because they produced Dusty Springfield's Nothing Has Been Proved for that film. Anyway, it's getting off the subject. So it was lovely to see the film. I'd forgotten a lot of it. It came back to me as I was watching it. And of course, Forrest Whitaker's become a massive star since then. That must have been one of his early sort of big film roles. I remembered Miranda Richardson, and I knew it had a violent end, but I'd forgotten. I remembered the twist, because as we came out of that screening, we all got given a sheet of paper saying, please do not disclose the twist of the film. And I think all the press did that as well. I don't think it was ever given away what the twist of the film was, and I don't think we should give it away in this podcast for those people that have never seen it, to be honest.
Oh, don't worry about that. I'm sure there's someone who's going to mention it.
Well,
Isn't that right, Jake O'Connor?
I'd be interested to know that those who haven't seen the film before until this, whether they guessed it before, genuinely guessed what was going to happen, because I don't think it's easy to guess. Especially, I was thinking when I watched it again last night, in the era when 1992, when that film came out, it was quite radical and quite groundbreaking, just in the portrayal of those characters and that scene and everything. And it is still quite groundbreaking in terms of how that, Fergus or Jimmy falls in love with the person rather than the sex. Really, it transcends. It shows that love transcends, no matter what the sexuality of the person is or the gender of that person is. He falls in love with Dill as a person, which is quite interesting. The fact that he's also an IRA terrorist adds another twist to that. But yeah, really enjoyable film. It's quite strangely structured, I think, because it starts off in one, then it goes to another location, and it does have quite a strange sort of narrative, but with this fairground and everything at the beginning. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it's very funny in places as well. I remembered that shot of Forrest Whitaker in his sort of dream of him in his cricket gear, and I remembered that shot of him, throwing the ball up in the air in triumph after the pivotal moment. And it was just like, that's what I was keeping from you, which I thought was very funny, and I still find it funny. But yeah, it's a very sweet film as well, even though it's very bloody and violent. It's, in the way it handles that relationship, it's very sweet and tender, actually, in places.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah. It's a sort of a well-crafted movie. It's
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And unusually crafted, and unusually, different kind of.
Yeah. Back then in, say, 92, it must be a breath of fresh air that this came out, and it was something different.
Yeah. Interestingly, I was watching the special features on the Blu-ray after I saw the film last night, and it was basically a flop here. It didn't do well here at all. It was in the States where it took off.
It was huge here.
Yeah. That's what made the film. That's what you know. That's what brought it to. And then I think it started being shown again here. I think as a result of that.
And this is the third copy I've had. I mean, I wore out 2 video.
Well, Susan, you need to buy the, you know.
Yeah, that's the Blu-ray. Yeah, I've got that. Yeah. But I'm surprised that the DVD of the Crying Game isn't on there. You know, of Boy George's track. That was the one thing I thought was missing from it was actually the song.
The video.
Because it had clips from the film in it.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks for that, Phil. It's first outing on Geeks Assembled, folks, and we've was gentle today. So we will go to. Let's go to Philip Archer.
Oh, me. Okay. Well, like what Phil just said about how the film is structured, it seemed that when you from the fairground part of it, it seemed a lifetime away when you get into the city part of things and where he meets Jay Davidson and all that goes on. It seems like 2 different films at one point. 2 different film structures. But I will applaud Jay Davidson for playing Jill, because when I first saw this, I didn't see that coming at all. I just thought, wow, that's a sexy woman back then, even though. But then when you see the meat and balls of everything, then it's like, oh my fucking God. But yeah, it was good. But Jay Davidson sold it for me in this movie, because I can't think of anybody that can portray that character in that way. And also the guy that played the Irish guy, what's his name? Stephen Rea?
Stephen Rea.
Stephen Rea. He was very good and very convincing as well. Forrest Whitaker, for the short time he was in it, I felt sorry for him. Even when he was trussed up and he was trying to plead for his life and everything, and when he started crying, I thought, oh my God, this is terrible. But when he got sort of like hit by that truck, I was like, oh fucking hell. And that was awful. Like that. But I do think, is it Miranda Richardson or whatever? Richardson? Her previous persona, original persona, that was fine. It's when she started having that bob hairdo and the sort of like Hitler type kind of beautiful sort of look about her, Gestapo look. I thought, what a wicked bitch she is. She deserved what she got. She deserved what she got, and you know what? That was cool. And I'm glad it was dealt out by Jay Davidson for the death of her once chocolate boy. But there you go. But it's a good movie. It's a very good movie, and I did confuse it with another movie of that time called Empire State. But then, obviously, now I've seen it, it still stands up very well to this day.
Thanks, Derek. I suppose we'll move over to Corner.
Thank you. I've seen a lot of great films on the Troubles, like Bloody Sunday, 71, Michael Collins. And do like them sorts of films, but for me, this one was just kind of middling, I thought. It was very much a movie that kind of, I feel, pivoted, I guess you could say, around that twist. Like, that twist was the backbone of it, really. That's what made it, I guess, so popular. And it is an incredible twist, unfortunately, because speaking to certain people before I'd seen it, I kind of knew what the twist was. I had it hinted to me that it kind of ruined the experience. But nonetheless, what a cast of actors. There's so many, Forrest Whitaker aside, there's so many great British actors in this. Miranda Richardson, who is always fantastic, greatly underrated as well. But also a face that me and Phil will be familiar with, and any fan of Line of Duty, Adrian Dunbar, is also in this as Maguire. He's fantastic. What an actor. And Stephen Rea, who I have seen in Michael Collins as well. He was in that, who I believe was by the same director. But I haven't really seen him in much else, and he's a great actor as well. But I think Miranda Richardson in her sort of Uma Thurman, even though this was like a decade later, Uma Thurman Pulp Fiction sort of get up was fantastic. She was the standout, was Miranda Richardson. But other than that, I just felt like, you know, the story was kind of, apart from the twist, I've seen this before, you know, it was sort of a bit middling, not sort of my type of cup of tea. But I can't discredit the performances. And the end was really good. I did like when Dill killed Miranda Richardson's character, Jude. That was very bloody and a very satisfying end to Miranda Richardson's character. And also how the story of the Scorpion and the Frog kind of played a part in making Fergus do what he did at the end. That was a nice little kind of wrap up to link the beginning to the end. So in brief sort of review, it's just sort of middling for me. But I understand that it won an Oscar for best animated adapted screenplay. I think it won. So some people must have liked it. It just wasn't my type of movie, I don't think.
We say we don't always have to agree, and usually Connor doesn't. We'll go over to Jake now. Have you finished eating now, Jake?
Yes.
There
I went into this film completely blind. I didn't even know about it before I watched it. I went into completely new. Didn't know about a twist or anything. But my God, this film handles so many important issues: terrorism, sexuality, love, racism, in such a good, and even like abuse, domestic violence. I found this film incredible. I was so taken aback by how powerful this film was. At the beginning, I was like, isn't going to be my thing. But as soon as it went on, I was like, my God, this gone from 0 to 100 so quick. Like even when the coloured man got hit by the tank, I went, fucking hell. I was expecting seeing that. And then like the evil woman who tricked him and all that, how she changed character so quickly between the two times that we saw her, at the beginning, at the end. I adored that, and I think this is, like I said earlier, a really good film for people struggling with sexuality to watch this film. I think it's a very important film for stuff like this, and I can see why it has got such a good cult following, because I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and I didn't expect it I would.
You see, I did say you'd enjoy it, didn't I? It's been a while. I'm like Phil. It's been a while since I sat down and watched this. And as soon as I started watching it, things started to come back, and things I've totally forgotten. I mean, I forgot Jim Broadbent's even in this.
Yeah, me too.
And you see a brief glimpse or a brief of Tony Slattery as well.
Yeah, that's right, Tony Slattery. Yeah,
He was, yeah. And also any film with Ralph Brown in it, playing Dave in this one. I mean, he's been in some cult movies, with Neil and I and stuff like that, and even a Star Wars movie at one point. But yeah, I enjoyed this. It's as you say, I agree with what it does feel like two different movies. The beginning in the Ireland, the UK, and London.
Yeah, and London, yeah.
Yeah. I even forgot that Forrest Whitaker was in this. I mean,
yeah, that's
I
kind of had as well. Yeah,
I even forgot while watching it that he's an American.
That's right. I mean, he's American, isn't he? That's right. He's putting on an accent.
I know, a damn good accent as well. But one thing I want to ask you, I mean, you guys may know, some might not, but when he said to Fergus, go to London, go to the Metro, find Dill, did he do that on purpose to get revenge, or was he wanting him to look after Dill?
Oh no, I think that was genuine. I think he wanted, because he had that connection with him, with Jimmy. I think.
Yeah, I just got
like every good soldier, okay? Like every good soldier sends a mate home, even if in this case, even on the wrong fucking side.
Yeah,
and take care of their loved ones.
Well, that question, Mark, I said that question is because when he was dreaming about Jodie in the cricket gear, after the twist, when he's throwing the ball up in the air, he was sort of smirking and smiling.
Yeah, but then that's in his imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's imagining
Yeah.
Jodie doing, because obviously he didn't know that he was a bloke. he assumed that Jodie is straight.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
and he
But-
can't, and, and he's probably bi. I mean, we just don't know, and
We
it
don't
doesn't
know,
matter
yeah.
because it's about the character anyway, isn't it? It's about the fact
Yeah,
that he doesn't just take care of Dill; he falls in love with her. It
Mm.
all goes, you know.
Everyone who
and-
knows Dill falls in love with her. Even that crazy guy who wants money and
Oh,
was jacked up with her.
The yacht.
Dave.
Yeah,
Dave,
the type. Yeah.
Ralph Brown. I mean, it was a bit of a giveaway, even before the twist in the movie. Every time there was in the metro, if you look around the pub,
Yeah,
there was men with men, there was women
yeah.
with women.
I mean,
in plain
that
sight,
wasn't
isn't it?
subtle.
Yeah. But you don't see it first off, but when you watch it again, you think, oh, why didn't I see that before?
Yeah. But then remember, in 1992, how many films had gay themes, or that kind of thing? People wouldn't have been looking.
But yeah, it's a pretty damn good movie. Is it the best movie I've ever? I don't.
Oh, probably
So,
not.
I've seen better.
I've seen better.
It
Yeah,
was
I've
a
seen better.
triumph. It may not have been the best movie ever, but it was a triumph.
But if it keeps you watching from beginning to end, it's done the trick. It's done what it's been made to do. You know.
And
I think
Stephen
it's a
Rea,
memorable-
hooray! He has done the most amazing things. I mean, he was in Interview with a Vampire. He was in, I mean, he's done some goth things. He's such a deep actor. I followed his stuff around for a while. Amazing.
Well, we'll just open the floor then for things, general favourite things what you wasn't so keen on. Feel free to chip in.
I mean, I like the scene where Adrian Dunbar's character Maguire kind of comes back and just shoots the judge. That was there was a lot of merciless sort of killing in this, which I guess added a flavour to it. And as I said at the end with Dill and Miranda Richardson's Jude, that was I think the gratuitous violence sort of matched off well against the sort of more sexualised romantic aspect of it, as it usually does in cinema. It's kind of, that was one of the more well executed parts of it, though I am actually surprised, and I guess that this is because it's before he was really famous, that Forrest Whitaker was in it so little. Because because I guess he wasn't, but if he was a star at the time, you'd imagine you'd want to get as much star power out of him as possible, but he was only in it.
I think this is what made him a bit of a star, to be honest. I think this is what brought him to people's attention, presumably probably more so in America, where it was much more of a success.
That's true, Phil.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing, what was I going to say? Carry on, because my thread of thought, my train of thought has just gone. It will come back to me.
What is interesting is there, there are the twists. Like you get going on the IRA sort of direction, and then it twists and it goes to London or wherever, and then you think that he's actually been successful and left the IRA behind.
Well, that's never going to happen, no.
And when Jude shows up again, Jude is her name, that's right. When Jude shows up again, it's like, oh my gosh, this is going to go sour so fast.
See, with Miranda Richardson, she's a damn good actress, but every time I see her, I just can't get Queenie out of my head.
And she's a chameleon. She's also a chameleon actor, isn't she? She looks and is different in every role she does.
Yeah.
But every time I see her, the first image I always get is Queenie out with Blackadder. But this movie, the budget for this movie was £2.3 million to make. It only made $2 million in the UK.
Yeah.
But nearly $63 million in the US. So there you go.
Tidy
Yeah,
properly. No.
the cool thing.
Could be wrong.
The cool thing is that Jay Davison was at his peak at that point. I mean, it was like he just finished Stargate, and I mean, and then he went into this, and like,
Stargate was after this.
all right, well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is probably how he got
Yeah.
cast in Stargate. That's why he probably appeared in Stargate, because of this.
Yeah.
Because he was new. He was new.
And it's a shame, really, that he didn't really do much.
Yeah, I meant to Google him last night, actually, just to see what he's done since.
Well, if you do Google him, you'll be surprised what he looks like now.
Oh, I'm sure.
Big, muscly,
Oh, really? Really?
tattoos.
Oh.
um,
One thing I was going to say
he did
was...
4 movies. He's
I'm sorry.
done 4 movies. He's done Crying Games, Stargate, Jiggery Pokery, and the Borglehyde Project, and that's it.
Okay. Well, you know, the business doesn't always work for some people, so...
No, that's true.
One thing I picked up in the documentary last night, and there's one documentary on that Blu-ray about Northern Troubles, but it was quite interesting because there was like a former IRA soldier who'd then become a priest or something on this documentary. I actually found the documentary quite dull, and it's quite long-winded. But he says, well, it's nothing like reality really, because especially when Adrian Dunbar and Miranda Richardson are doing the shit, trying to get the judge at the end, he said, they're not even in disguise. They're not having no false moustaches, no nothing. They're just as they are. He said, that wouldn't have happened. But,
there's Jay now, if you can see it.
wow.
Wow, God, he's changed.
Well, he hasn't really. When you take if you think under the glasses, he actually hasn't changed that much. He's just less feminine.
This is the same Jay Davison from Susan's favourite movie, Stargate, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes, that was the next thing he did, yeah.
Even he looks feminine. Even in Stargate, it's very feminine Egyptian. So
I haven't seen that film for years and years, since it came out,
yeah, true.
Stargate. And I never saw the series after either, so...
I wasn't a big fan either. We won't go down that route, though, will I, Susan? Anybody else? Any things you'd like to say before we go to final saying scores?
I had my suspicions about the twist very early on, because the way that obviously Forest Whitaker's character interacted with like Jimmy, I thought that's a little bit gay.
Oh, when it's like, oh, you look beautiful. Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
As it is going on, and as I saw more of this the woman character, who was not a woman, but you know what I mean. I was like, and when it was leading up to him going into her house, I thought that's a bloke. That's going to be the big twist. And I was going to message
2020 hindsight, eh?
And I was going to message Phil going, it's the twist, she's a bloke. And as soon as I messaged it, it happened. And I laughed. I feel really bad for laughing. But as soon as I saw his little penis pop up on the screen, oh my God, hysterics.
It didn't literally pop up, did it? That's what I'm saying.
I thought it was going to be, it was still shocking, but I thought it was going to be like really emotional and thingy.
Just think how Stephen Rea felt when he had to do 16 takes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I had to say about it. I like the bit where he's helping him wee as well. I thought that was quite funny.
Oh, it's hilarious.
That was funny.
I remember that. I thought, sure, there's a bit where he has to go to the loo.
Yeah, it's an enjoyable movie. Anybody else wants to say before we go to family?
Yeah, the domestic violence, the abuse that Dave was like heaping on Dill was tough to watch.
It was tough to watch, but he was also the comedy element as well, because
that's how I saw it. Like a comedy.
Vegas was always beating him up.
One of the funniest scenes I thought in this was when he Dill threw the goldfish ball out the window.
Yeah.
Oh, murderer!
And if you watch the alternative ending on the Blu-ray and DVD.
Yeah.
Fergus gets away, and Dave walks into the apartment where the dead body of Jude is, and then the police come in and get him.
Oh, I didn't know that. What? Wow.
Yeah. But
Okay.
apparently it was an ending that they only filmed the ending because Channel 4, who obviously were a big investor, and didn't like the original. They hadn't filmed the original ending.
Yeah.
But as far as the script was concerned, they didn't like the ending. They thought they didn't like it. And so they wouldn't change their mind. And so they insisted that they shoot that alternative ending, which is all quite sweet and, it's like Christmas time and
up into the sunset.
and and he doesn't go to prison, he escapes, and and you get the impression that
the Hallmark Channel of the UK.
Yeah, but then
Christmas
when they filmed it, and apparently
soldier at war.
Yeah, but apparently it cost a hell of a lot of money because there were so many extras, and they had to get snow machine in and everything else. So it cost them a huge amount of money, and money was tight.
Yeah.
But when they saw it, they agreed that the original ending was right, and so they had to go and stump up more money so that they could actually film the ending that he planned in the first place. So.
Yeah. It's the same. If you do get a chance, watch the alternate endings. They are quite good. I mean, they're off all VHS. They're not. You can't. It's a bit fuzzy, but
yeah, because it's taken off on just a VHS tape, isn't it? So yeah,
a little bit of film history there. So guys, we're going to go to final say and scores. So Susan, over to you.
I love this. I'm so glad that it was done. I'm so glad that we get to review it. I'm so glad that it's still so surprising and so jarring and so fabulous and so sparkly. I love this movie so much, and the soundtrack, because it includes Boy George, is beautiful, and I will give it 10 Golda Meir sequin dresses out of 10.
How did I know that was going to come? Let's go to Connor.
Because I said it was middle of the road, I'll give this a 6 out of 10, I think.
That's okay. That's a fan score. At least it's not a 2. Jim.
I found this film really powerful, so I'm going to give it a 9.
Thank you. Let's go to our newbie, Phil.
It's nice to be a newbie. It doesn't happen very often these days. Yeah, I mean, I've always enjoyed. I mean, I'd give it a 9 as well. I've always enjoyed the film, and it was lovely to rewatch it. So thanks for being a part of it. Yeah, enabling you to do this here.
We've got less. Oh, we've got Philip, haven't we?
Yeah, always leave out the black one. Right, I'm going to give this a 9 as well. I thought it was very good. And you know what? I'm going to watch it again later on anyway, because I did enjoy it. And it's been a long time since I saw it originally anyway. So it's good to see it again. A 9.
Don't forget it, guys. Don't forget it.
Me, personally, I enjoyed it. It's a great film to watch. I agree with Connor. It's nothing. It's not a big blockbuster. It's not something extraordinary, but it's a damn good movie. So for that reason, I'm giving it 9 out of 10 as well, because I'm a big Pet Shop Boys fan as well, knowing full well they produced the music, got Boy George involved, so it went well with the movie. It really does. So.
And it's got one of my greatest, a great track that I've always liked for a long time, done by Cicero back then, and it's called, what was it called? Oh,
Live for Today.
Live for Today, yeah.
Live for Today.
Cicero, do you know?
I'm friends with Cicero on Facebook now.
I've got Cicero's album somewhere up there.
Later, Phil, we'll be talking about him later. Oh, yes, please.
That's the album, yeah.
There he is, my little bunny. Right, who's that? Oh, we shouldn't be saying that on here.
We don't edit it, you know, Phil. We're not like the old days.
You'll get some
And,
views.
and Neil Jordan was famous for his works. He did Breakfast in Pluto, Michael Collins.
Yeah.
He did The
Company of
Borgias.
Wolves.
He
Did
did
Interview with a Vampire as well.
Yeah.
Interview with a Vampire.
So he did
We
quite a
got The
few.
Good Thief.
He's very good with intimate movies. Then good. You look at Crying Game. That's quite an intimate tale, really.
Dreams.
Well, he's a writer director, isn't he? You know, he writes.
Yeah.
You know.
Red Hot and Blue. Oh, that's the. And We're No Angels. Man, such good stuff.
Cool.
Neil Jordan.
So we have discussed the Crying Game today. So you guys out there, give it a chance. Go back, buy a copy, or download on us, you know, off a site.
Yeah.
We don't do things illegal. So you guys here, thanks for joining me. Thanks for talking this movie. You guys out there, if you like what we've been talking about, let us know what you thought of this movie. Leave a comment. If you'd like to join, just leave a comment, get in touch with us. We're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, we're everywhere. Just leave a comment, get in touch. And if you want any notifications of our videos that go up, you know, ding that bell on YouTube. And ding ding. Yeah, I was waiting for a bell to come up. Susan had a bell and Jake had a bell last week. They haven't got a bell now. So until next.
That's another surprising moment on the Crying Game cast. No bell.
No bell. Yes, but thanks, guys, for talking this movie. So until next time, we'll be seeing you. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.